Hello YouTube, it's Chris here. Have finally finished my Altoids Survival Tin, and I am excited to say this thing is loaded, and I've got to say I think I did a pretty good job. So let's not waste any time and open this thing up. Alright, something you notice on the very outside of the Altoids tins or rubber bands. Standard, nothing usual, just to help keep in my pocket if I'm not going to be in an everyday urban environment. If I'm going to be like at work or anything like that, I would have it just like this to keep it as inconspicuous as possible. I mean, there's nothing else done to it, except for some hockey tape to kind of grip it down and make it close better. Now, when you go like this, literally almost no sound. This thing is stuffed to the brim. Now let's open this bad boy up. Alright, now that we have it opened up, you guys can see that it's stuffed to the brim. Now, I have done a lot of research on a lot of different videos, so most of this stuff that you're going to see is not original by me. I've just tried to take some of the best ideas I've seen on a lot of different kits and put it into mine. Now, on the outside of the kit, you're going to get to see some emergency numbers. I have taxi, not emergency fire, poison control, Red Cross, an emergency 911, and the non-emergency number for the Indianapolis area and the areas closest to me. Now, we are going to flip this up. And yes, this is my shameless plug. That's my business card. I figured it's kind of a fairly decent identifier. You know, it says who I am and all that jazz. And at least there's my phone number. I don't know why my phone number is going to be any useful, but anyway. Right under here, there is a microfiber cloth for polishing glasses. If you find a reflector of any kind, you need to make that a little bit more polished up. It's really good, and it also keeps the noise down. It's kind of like a shock absorber and soundproofer. Now, let's reposition the camera. Bam. Alright. I'm going to push this thing a little farther back. Alright, now let's dive into the kit itself. Alright, first thing you'll notice is the item that I have desperately been waiting for a very long time. This is the True Utility Nano Lite, which you can also see showcased on the Urban Preppers video. But you just turn this knob like that and it turns it on. It uses 4 of the hearing aid batteries. It's supposed to last a pretty long time, and it boasts this is the smallest flashlight in the world. And so far, it's holding true. I've been waiting for this because I needed a sustainable light source in my kit. This is why I just haven't made the video all the way until now. Next, I couldn't find the 4.7's emergency titanium whistle, but I was able to get myself a titanium emergency whistle, and this thing is really loud. I'm going to do a full review on it, but it's perfect for a keychain. It's also very small, and it boasts sound of over 100 decibels. And I can promise you it's really loud. Next, I have a mini Bic Lighter that I have wrapped in 1 layer of Hocky Grip Tape, so if it's a little colder or a wet environment, it's a little bit easier to grip this thing. And I also wrapped it in 1 of the 7 strands that you can find in Paracord. Paracord is a little too thick to stick in here, but this is really good if you absolutely need to break it down a little bit thinner for stitching, snare lines, trap lines. I mean, there's a bunch of uses for the inner strands of paracord. So this is about 7.5 feet of it all stranded up. So, and as you can see, lighter works really well. It's brand new. Moving on, I broke out a miniature fishing kit. There are swivels and hooks, weights, and floats up in here, and there's a little bit of lead and some metal wiring in there for that. I'll put that off to the side, and we're going to get to the rest of the fishing kit later. Here, I actually have 34 inches of hockey tape. Since it was thinner, I stripped it down into 2 strips, so it'd still give a really nice thin profile and be useful. Hockey tape is really sticky, but similar to gaffer's tape, it doesn't leave a permanent residue. And there are a bunch of different uses for this, for securing bandages, to leaving emergency notes if you have to leave a spot where you're at and there's a search and rescue for you or anything of that nature. So that's really good for that. Next, I just have a washer. I'm not really sure why I put that in there, but it does have a really sharp edge. So if you need to strike any fire steels that you might have on you in an EDC kit or survival bracelet, this will be really good in case, say, some of your bracelet breaks or anything of that nature. And this is a standard button. That'll be good for a clothing repair kit. Alright, next I have just a little bit of medication right here. This is just some Motrin for pain management if I get hurt or injured or get a headache because I'm out in the elements for an extended amount of time and I'm not fully prepared. I have some more medication down in there. I'll get to it in a second. Next, you've already seen these displayed. These are 2 miniature glow sticks. They last for about 4 hours in the dark. It's just a simple, quick chemical reaction. As I've stated in some updates from previous videos, I'm waiting on UV Packlight to send me basically a more permanent solution, so I won't have to, snap these and then have to throw them away. I can actually have a reusable source that I can put back in here when I rebuild the kit after an emergency. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but just in case it does, it's good to have a reusable source if you're out for a prolonged amount of time. Next, because I'm going to be using this to help pull out the rest of my kit, I have a toothpick, dental hygiene, and if you're really desperate, really dry tinder for fire starting. Next, I have a PaperClip. PaperClip is really useful in a bunch of different scenarios. I mean, I've seen every episode of MacGyver. You can do almost anything with a paperclip. Oh, yes. Right here, I saw another guy do a video, and this was really cool. He had safety pins for if you're going to fix your tent or a shelter or anything of that nature. This is really good to bundle them together by kind of pressing them. So it kind of saves some space, and from clothing repair to shelter repair, this is a really good item to have. So I have 2 of these to fit in there so far. And then just to kind of help you salivate and prevent dehydration from coming at you as quickly, I have a single piece of gum. So that's really good to have, and it's good for have a little bit fresher breath. Alright, next I have my little fire starting pack. Oops, that's rolling away from me. There is a match striker here. I actually got it from my UCO Strike Anywhere match kit. Just an extra used striker that I use, but it still works. Then inside of here I have 3 waterproof matches, some straw tinder, and then I have a half of a cotton ball. So this is a really good fire starting kit, and since this kit is not waterproof, I went ahead and tried to make this kit a little more resilient in an adverse weather condition. Next, because I couldn't fit standard reflective mirrors, I put 2 1x1" mirrors in there in case one breaks or you drop one. You just have multiple options to signal for help, and maybe even rotating them back and forth will just send an alternating light signal so you can let people know where you are, and shoot, even if you use it for personal hygiene reasons to make yourself look a little bit more appealing when you get rescued. Next is a really cool item. I really enjoy this. This is the Ultimate Survival Technologies SaberCut razor saw, if I'm not mistaken. You can find them on Amazon or their website. It comes with a razor blade, and it comes with the saw. So this is a really useful kit. I decided to swap this out for a knife because in my EDC, I'm always going to have a knife on me, a pocket folder of anything of that nature. So sticking one of those in that kit is a little over redundant. So having something like a saw and a razor blade or something I usually don't just keep on me. So this to me made a little bit more sense. And I really like this product. I'm going to have a full review on this, but for now I thought that was a good fit for the kit. Next, I've got antiseptic hand wipe. You can use this before you touch anything like a wound or anything of that nature. It's not necessarily an alcohol prep pad, but it's pretty good, and it's for first aid and a septic. So it's a little bit bigger than the other ones, and I also have an alcohol prep pad in there as well. Alright, next I have some jute. I have 3 pieces that also coincide with the fire starting to help make it a little bit easier. I really want to be able to start a fire if I'm in a cold or wet condition and I'm really exposed to the elements, so that's just to kind of further help my cause in starting a fire in a survival situation. And right here is the fishing line, and this is probably the smallest way I've been able to fold this up. I wrapped it in a figure 8 and then taped it with a little bit of hockey tape to secure it down. And if I'm not mistaken, this is 30 feet of fishing line. It's 12-pound test line. So it's not the strongest, but it will catch you some small fish to help you out in a really, really, really terrible situation. Oh, there we go. And this is 1 small tablet of Benadryl. I actually have used this for in case I run into anything out in the woods or in an unfamiliar environment and I get an allergic reaction, just kind of help me out a little bit. For me personally, I'm not naturally allergic to a lot of things, so having an EpiPen or anything like that isn't necessarily a have-to-have thing. So it's just to kind of, if I run into some poison ivy or anything, it kind of will just dampen it down a little bit just to give myself some time until I can go seek some help at a hospital or anything. Alright, next I've got a toothpick. That's a plastic one from a Swiss Army knife that I picked up. It's brand new, so it's really good to have some redundancies. And I want a reusable one in case I had to use the wooden one for fire starting. Then I have some simple tweezers. I don't have some of the nicer ones like the sliver grippers that you see from that you've seen in other videos online. I just wanted something small and simple just to have something if I got to remove a splinter or anything. This is a Twisty Tie. Also, just like the rubber bands and paper clips and whatnot, it's just, you never know if you're going to need them, and I think it'd be something useful to have in case I've got to really just tie something down or secure something smaller that I just really need some help with. Alright, next I have a single nail. I find that nails are very, very useful in a outdoor situation if I'm going to be using anything. And just like Urban Prepper said in his video, every single time you've got a hammer and you need a nail to nail something down, you don't have a nail. So I got a nail. Next is, I did not go the straw route as everyone else does. They take the straw and take a lighter on either side of it and secure it. But this is Bactrian zinc. This is an ointment for wounds and anything of that nature. And it's designed, you can use it twice, and you can basically cut this open and then roll this back up, and you don't have to waste the whole thing. Next I have kind of like it's a hybrid between like a PaperClip and a carabiner. Just a small little clamp I pulled off a keychain, but it's really, really, really tough for its size, so I wanted to have that in there in case, again, I need something to clamp down and secure. Next I have an actual medical alcohol prep pad. This is designed for single use as the other one was. And I've got 2 prep pads and 2 band-aids, so 2 and 2. So if I have 2 different cuts or wounds, I have that available. Next is, I did actually include an actual knife. This comes from a survival grenade from the Friendly Swede. It's more like a scalpel, but it has a handle on it, and you can actually cut stuff with it, and it's a little bit more sturdy than a razor blade, so it can handle some little bit tougher tasks. Now, it can't replace a bushcraft type survival knife, but obviously can't put a bushcraft survival knife inside of a Altoids tin. Next, I have an Allen wrench. Like I said, with my survival kit, I'm trying to make a hybrid between a wilderness survival and urban environment. So this is a standard one that you will find from furniture when you put stuff together, and it's always really handy to have a tool like this around, because that is an unusual tool to have readily available all the time. So having something like that is very, very nice. Alright, next I have the 2 Band-Aids, still already kind of packaged up in there, so they'll be fine. And with the Band-Aids in my Altoids Survival Kit, I'm going to be taking some of the stuff like the antiseptic and the alcohol prep pads and my Band-Aids and swapping them out every few months, so I don't have to worry, and especially the medication, the gum, because I don't want that stuff sitting in there for God knows how long, and then all of a sudden, bam, I don't have anything that's any good. Like the medication's expired, not gonna actually help me. The medical ointment went bad and stuff like that. So, alright, enough jibber jabbering, let's move on. Alright, next we've got, I can probably just pull these out now. I have one Q-tip that's been cut in half. So if you need to apply the ointment somewhat sterilely or clean out your ears for hygiene reasons, whatever situation you'll need it, you've got them, and there's enough just for one for each ear. Then I have another Q-tip, another toothpick. I apologize. So I have 2 toothpicks here, and then right here is actually pretty awesome. This is a huge piece of tinfoil. I was able to fold this up nice and small, but it opens up really, really, really large. This is only opened up halfway, so it's pretty big. So if you need a dry environment to start a fire, you will have this bad daddy right and ready and available. Next, I have standalone another razor blade. I don't have, a full knife in this kit, but I'm trying to have a little bit of redundancy. So I have a razor blade here, a scalpel, and then this razor blade. And it's already used, but I've already used it before, so I know it works. And then secondly, I'm going to move the camera, guys. I have a single needle. And that's good for if I need to emergency stitches. I don't know why I would be crazy enough to try, but if I need to do that by myself, I can. Or if I'm simply going to be using it for clothing repair or even shelter repair, I have that available. So to raise this all up and give you guys an overview, that is my Altoids Survival Tin. And when you open everything up and take out the individual pieces of fire tinder and jute and everything, I have quite a very good selection, I think. So real quick, just give me your thoughts on what you think I maybe should take out or add to the survival kit. I think I put a pretty good amount of thought in there because I wanted to have a good hybrid between an urban and a more desolate location. I don't want to say rural because I hate saying that word. R-U-R-A-L, rural. Like, it just sounds crappy. It sounds like you're going to be in a crappy spot. So, that's it for now, guys. I'm out.